And everyone, welcome once again to Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports, and it's great to be with you on this first Tuesday in July 7, 2020, and we're going to talk about some things that went on in the world of baseball yesterday. So last night I was watching the Yankee scrimmage. It was really cool. You know, it rained a lot of teams out of summer practice yesterday. The Yankees had scheduled theirs apparently for the evening at around 6 o'clock last night Eastern time. The tarp was on the field, and it looked like it was going to be a washout in Yankee Stadium as well. But no. The tarp came off the field around 6:30, and what we had was baseball. It was a scrimmage between the Yankees against the Yankees. And, you know, as I was first of all watching it, being a Yankee fan, and if every team has the opportunity to watch their team enter scrimmage, I actually prefer that to watching a spring training game the first couple of weeks of spring training. Because, you know, you watch a spring training game the first couple of weeks of spring training, and you get an inning or two of your favorite players, and then you start watching number 92, number 97. You get my drift. Last night, it was all Yankees, and it looked like the team that Clark Schmidt, remember that name, Clark Schmidt faced to start the game, well, could have been the regular day Yankee starting lineup, less DJ LeMahieu, and Clark Schmidt. Now, I know pitchers probably are way ahead right now, day one, of the hitters, but he had command of every pitch. And the Yankee batters, short of a bloop single by Gleyber Torres, couldn't touch him. I mean, he looked absolutely incredible facing the regulars of the Yankees. Now, I realize it's day one. I realize the batters don't have their timing yet. I get that. But pitchers have got a long way to go, too. So just to be able to watch the different players, there was Judge, Stanton, Andujar, Gardner. I mean, go on down the list. Luke Voigt, Urshela, Gary Sanchez, Aaron Hicks. They were all playing. Pitching, again, way ahead. J.A. Happ looked really good for the Yankees. As I said before, Schmidt looked really good. Relievers came in. I did note late in the broadcast as I was watching it, Giancarlo Stanton hit a laser to right center field. And it was good to see that because we know what happened over the weekend when he had the, I guess, misfortune of hitting the line drive off of Tanaka's head going up the middle. Tanaka okay. Stanton did not appear to have any long-lasting effects by the way he hit the ball last night. So, just to let you know, it was really, really nice to see some type of baseball, be it a scrimmage. Great to see it last night. So, moving on from the Yankees, and we know, of course, that the Yankees are without DJ LeMahieu. Sessa, the relief pitcher, also out with COVID. And then yesterday, a couple of more bigger names. You know, Joey Gallo's situation is really interesting to me. Joey Gallo on June 26 had the saliva test, tested positive for COVID. To do a backup to confirm, I guess, the results, a few days later, they performed the swab test where it tickles the back of your brain. It came back negative. And then they did another saliva test a couple days ago, which now turns out to be positive. So Joey Gallo, asymptomatic. Now, remember that, asymptomatic, meaning he's not showing any symptoms of the virus, but he does have it, and so he is being taken and secluded away, and he will have to have 2 negative tests within a 24-hour period before he can return to the Rangers' workouts. And that's the concern. We don't know enough about this virus to know how long it will be before the Joey Gallos, before the DJ LeMahieu's. Every team will have someone, and it appears that the list is growing. So that's a concern. Gallo probably will be back, should be back before opening day, but a veteran who came out yesterday and said, I'm not going to play this year, Nick Markakis. Nick Markakis of the Atlanta Braves. And so I want to spend a moment. He's definitely not playing. So now with Markakis not playing, let's take a look at what that might do to the Atlanta Braves. Well, first of all, we already know that Freddie Freeman is out, testing positive, and is having symptoms, fever, cough. So may not be ready for the opening of the season, Freddie Freeman. He can't get on the field to practice. And remember, opening day is 2 weeks from Thursday. So we are 16 days away from the Yankees, Nationals, Dodgers, Giants tipping off the season. So what will Atlanta do with Freeman out and now Markakis saying he's not going to play? Well, here are some options. First of all, if Atlanta first baseman Freddie Freeman isn't ready, then Austin Riley. Remember that name, Austin Riley? He who came on the scene like gangbusters last season. Austin Riley could fill in at first base. And then either Riley or Johan Camargo will likely start the year at third base. Brian Snitker, the Atlanta Braves manager, said, quoting now, Austin has looked really good at first base. He'd be fine defensively there. There's no doubt in my mind, end of quote. Now, there's another player who's a sneaky pick for fantasy, particularly now with both Markakis and Freeman possibly out, Adam Duvall. Adam Duvall, capable of playing first base. We know he has tremendous power. Markakis not playing, he could see time in left field. Yonder Alonso and Peter O'Brien could also be dark horse candidates for that first base job, but they would have to be added to the 40-man, and that would necessitate someone coming off the 40-man. So no matter how you slice it, really, Riley's fantasy value is on the rise. And remember, we haven't even talked about the designated hitter position. I also think Adam Duvall's value is on the rise. And probably, depending on how deep your league is, I guess there's a chance Austin Riley could have been drafted. I really doubt that Adam Duvall was drafted in many leagues this year. So I think both of those players provide a lot of power, and I think power is a premium. I was watching and reading something last night trying to, tone down the numbers instead of a 162 season being a 60 season. And, if someone hits 8 or 9 home runs this year, that's a lot of home runs. So if you hit double digits, wow. Well, those two guys, Duvall and Riley, both could hit double digits given enough at-bats. So they could be some really sneaky picks in fantasy, depending on the depth of your league and your roster constitution. You certainly may want to go add one, if not both, of those players to your roster. Now, looking around the league yesterday, neither Jesus Luzardo nor Mike Fiers have attended the team's summer camp workouts yet in Oakland. But general manager Dave Forrest said he can't say if the players were cleared to practice on Monday. I do know this. Oakland had trouble with their COVID test due to the July 4th holiday going through the mail to the proper testing facility. And so I looked on Twitter last night around 10 o'clock Eastern time, which would be 7 p.m. out in Oakland. The A's were finally taking the field for the first time. Yeah. So they hit the field late last night. So we don't know what the story is with Luzardo and Fiers. Unclear if either pitcher has been cleared. Possible results have still been delayed. And we know Luzardo, the 22-year-old, being the top prospect, and people are just salivating, like me, over the potential that Luzardo has. He shouldn't have any work restrictions this year. He has a massive upside. His ADP is around 115, but I put him around 60. I really do, now with the shortened season. And Fires, who's 35 years old, had 15 wins last year and an ERA under 4. Now, his K/9 only 6.1, so I'm not so interested in Fires, but I am majorly interested in Luzardo. And so we need to keep our eye and ears open, reading the reports on what's happening with both of those players. So we got the schedule out last night. I was looking. If the Toronto Blue Jays are good as advertised, and the Yankees have a heck of a September, the Jays and Yankees face off all 10 games in the month of September. But Major League Baseball unveiled the 2020 regular season. It'll feature a 2-game opening night, as I already alluded to. On Thursday, July 23rd, the Nationals and Yankees will have the first pitch at 7:08 Eastern Time. Garrett Cole and Max Scherzer, and boy, if that isn't a couple of heavyweights. And then after that, the Dodgers, they'll start their goal of obtaining their 8th straight National League West title against their rivals, the San Francisco Giants, at Dodger Stadium. And first pitch in that game is scheduled to take place at 10:08 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, all other games will begin on Friday, the 24th. The Dodgers, the Giants, the Yankees, and the Nationals, they will all have off on the 24th, and all teams then will be back in action on Saturday. So we'll see how the schedule goes. If you haven't looked at it, it's pretty interesting. There are a few off days sprinkled in, but it was interesting to me to see the Blue Jays and the Yankees play all 10 games in September, which means, of course, if the Jays are in it and Nate Pearson has not been called up, look for Nate Pearson to be a late season call-up and to produce some incredible results should he be called up. Cole Calhoun tests positive for COVID-19. Arizona Diamondback outfielder Cole Calhoun, 32-year-old, is asymptomatic, says he feels great. He, of course, like Gallo and others, must have 2 negative tests in a 24-hour period in order to join the team's workouts at Chase Field. Signed in the off-season as a free agent. He had a career-high 33 home runs last year with the Angels, but he only hit 232. So if you have Cole Calhoun in fantasy, first of all, we hope he gets back on the field soon. You may get some power numbers, but you're probably not going to get much in the average department. In the event that Cole Calhoun can't play when the season starts, so what do? Well, they've got some players, frankly, I'd never heard of until I got ready for this show. Tim LaCastro, who I've heard of, and Josh Rojas, who could platoon in right field. So, again, if you have Cole Calhoun, you have him for the power aspect probably only, but we're hoping that he will get back into action, practicing, scrimmaging for the Diamondbacks sooner than later. Aaron Judge, what about Aaron Judge and his rib? Before practice on Monday, Aaron Judge said he was game ready. Put that in quotation marks. Game ready. You know, he suffered that stress fracture in his rib late last season that forced him to take time away from swinging. But with the delay to the season, looks like he's going to be ready to go. Now, Judge seems to get nagging injuries. I don't know, maybe he won't have any this year with a short season. It's hard to estimate the chances of the injury nagging him this year, the rib injury. But it seems unlikely that he'll miss time because of the rib. Now, if he exerts that dominant power, he's in his 28-year-old season, and he has posted a .973 OPS over the past 3 seasons. So if you drafted in March and you drafted Aaron Judge late, you may have just got yourself a steal. We'll have to see. Tampa camp. Tampa Bay outfielders Austin Meadows, Jose Martinez, Randy Arozarena, and pitchers Tyler Glasnow and Yanni Chirinos were not present. That's right, were not present at the workout